Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. Today on the Sportster, it's done, so we're going to work on something that makes me happy. Let's get sparky. I love that this plug got painted. I love that that makes it really hard to separate, and then I plugged this in last time. And then I took off the fuel tank pivot, so now it's not in a good place to... So I should clean these connectors and like get some dielectric grease, because this paint was... Oh, it's just coming right off. This paint was definitely what was sticking. So I only took the fuel tank off because I think I have the bracket backward. I'm running into the what's it called? The tip over sensor, which I'm also not 100% certain goes here. I just think it does. You know what, actually, never mind. This definitely doesn't go the other way because it's got the thing that goes in it, like it leans in the... Anyway, we're gonna actually get into the meat of what I'm trying to do here. So you may notice a bolt. Ooh, right there. And one there, and some plugs here. You'll also notice somewhere on this side, it's behind the coolant reservoir, there's a coil there that's plugged in, and there's not a coil up here. The bike came to me, you know, the way that you see it. That coil has the lead ripped off of it. And this coil is gone. A set of used coils, $50. A 4-pack of Busa coils, $45. I like them apples. So then the problem becomes a single Busa pigtail, $30. However, an 8-pack of Ford modular pigtails, it's $10. Eh? I mean, it kind of reaches the way that it is, really. I might be able to just pin it in. Speaking from experience, the black with the red stripe is going to be positive, and that makes the black negative. This red's positive, black's negative. I did check on the Busa coil. The right side is positive and the left side is negative. So even this Ford pigtail is wired correctly. Now something tells me this one won't quite reach the front head. Just a hunch. You know what? Actually, these two wires are pretty close to those, so I can just like run the front plug off of my horn. Why does this hinge and come off? What's the purpose of this? I did a dumb. I didn't pay attention to what wire came from where on the coil back in there, wherever it was. And my wiring diagram just says, hey, these two go to the coil. It doesn't say where. I was going to leave this one coil in here for a reason of lulls. But now it has to come out for a reason of, whoops. Boy, this frame, eh? How about that ribbing? And I dropped the bolt. Of course I did. So I was hoping that this would be marked and I could tell what was what, because one spade's bigger than the other. And then I remembered this over here, I know what these wire colors are, and evidently the bigger one is the positive. I could have just, I didn't have to take that out. So for reference, the big plug is orange with white, the little plug is white with blue, which means the orange with the white stripe is the positive, and the white with the blue stripe is the negative, which is, I don't know, you know, you could argue that white would be positive, you could argue that orange should be positive. I don't really, both of those wires are black, so what's the rhyme or the reason here? Anyway, I'm gonna cut enough of my spaghetti that it'll wire up outside the frame, because I don't want to put the heat shrinks on inside, and then it'll just be a little bit loose on the inside. Oh no, I measured it, it's this much. So I think I'm gonna do that thing where some YouTubers will make a full-length video, right? And then they'll cut little shorts out of it. I've been trying to just film shorts, and this is gonna be really, really hard to do. So I'm gonna take a break, go get the BFC of NOS over there in the fridge behind the clementines. NOS. Oh yeah, buddy. Oh, that's gonna power me through. So as you guys probably know, I do all this work at like between 2 and 6 a.m. I work second shift, so this is a normal time for me to be awake, but I just worked all day. And it's the last day of the week. So I need that caffeine and that B12. So as you guys know, I like to do everything proper. So I have these heat shrink butt connectors. This is a level up from what I used to do. How many idiots does it take to figure out which way it goes? Anyway, for a long time, all I had was bullets. So to do a butt connection, I would heat shrink. I would heat shrink on 2 bullet connectors and just plug them in permanently. That's kind of stupid. So what I've leveled up to is I'm going to put a heat shrink butt connector. Right? It's one of the ones with the solder in it because this is the correct way to do it wrong. And then I also have some marine heat shrink with the adhesive, so it'll get nice and goopy and really seal. I don't know, I feel like this is supposed to de-necessitate that, if that's a word. But I don't know, man. I trust this Chinese thing more than I trust that Chinese thing for some... It's not gonna hurt to do more stuff. I said the orange was positive, right? Delicious. Look at that, definitely solder, definitely melting. It's not just metallic looking plastic in there, it's definitely solder. I do believe that it is solder. Because it does. It seems like it does the thing. And then the heat shrink really kind of constricts it and makes it actually do the thing, you know. It looks pretty good, all things considered. Good grief, focus, you! Huh. Hello. Thank you. You see how it's all shiny? There we go. You see how shiny? That's the solder. Yeah. So to do this right, I'm doing what's called a lineman splice. And you gotta strip way more wire than you think that you want. For reference, this is a finger. This is my human finger. So it's like, I don't know, 5/8 of an inch. A lot of people try to get away with about that much, maybe, you know, 1/4, 5/16, 1/2 inch even. Nah, buddy, don't be stingy. It does not cost you more to strip more insulation. Give her a good twist. I'm gonna try to illustrate how to do this. So you start crisscrossed. You do not twist them wire nut style. So you want your intersection in the middle there. You go up and over with one, and you wrap it around tight, and it'll about take up the space that you have. Up and over with your second wire, and then you finish out your coil. You see how they're holding together? Yeah? When you do your splice, you should be able to very confidently tug on it before the solder. The solder is not structural. You do not trust the solder to hold the wire in tension, right? The solder is not for tensile strength. You do a correct splice, it won't pull out. This is very simple, this is quick, this is easy, and it is the correct way to get a good connection. Then you either do the soldering iron with the actual solder, or you go the easy way with the heat shrink butt connectors with the solder in them. Do not mess around doing this the wrong way. So that bike was wired by an idiot. They had positives and negatives twisted together and wire nutted with light bulbs on the ends. Stupid. Too many people try to do stuff and they just don't know. They just don't know what they're doing, but they do it confidently. This is easy. You guys can do this. Anybody can do this. You just got to know. You just got to know that you can do it. As I put Busa coils on an SV with forward pigtails. You just got to know, right? Knowing is half the battle. Sorry, I get rambly when I'm alive. Oh yeah, bud. More heat, more shrink. It really does seem like it seals pretty well on the ends of the wires, but I'm still gonna pull this wrap back a little bit and put some of the marine stuff, as long as it's at least, it should be at least that long. That seems about right. Oh, almost threw away my chicken scratch. Oh, good. So I just opened it and all the little pieces are canoodling and they're falling out. And anyway, I don't think this is gonna, yeah, it's like the same length. I think I'm gonna go ahead and like join them up here. I might put two pieces on, maybe. I don't know, man. Tell you what, I got some regular heat shrink that's not marine. I don't know how much goo is really in this one anyway. 1/2 inch with a 2-to-1 shrink ratio, so it'll go down to 1/4 inch. I don't think it'll be quite small enough for that stuff. I can just wrap it with electrical tape. Honestly, I just want it to look good at this point. I'm getting so far ahead of myself, it's nuts. I'm gonna connect these bits, right, and put that over there and bypass the clutch switch and crank it over and see if it makes spark. I want to see spark before I start trying to pretty everything up. Yeah, look at this. So I just pulled the little caps off the end. Yeah. This is how much is stripped from the factory on the. How are you supposed to work with this? How? Who connects with? You see what I did? I'm glad I didn't do it on both wires. Actually, hold on. This will be a good teaching moment. That took a little bit of effort. So that brings up a good point. I was gonna mention this a minute ago. A thing that is kind of frustrating about the lineman splice is when one wire is significantly stiffer than the other one. So you see this just pulled straight. This is copper clad aluminum. This one's copper, I'm pretty certain, so this is a lot stiffer. If they were both solid copper, I don't think it would have pulled apart. Upon further inspection, I am fairly certain that the green goo in these is like a wax, that it really does seal the heck out of the connection, but I'm still running. I'm gonna put a couple of pieces of heat shrink on this end, and I'm gonna go nuts. All right, that coil is wired in. It goes from the main harness to the coil. Wow, that was hard. So I forget if I've said it already. The reason that I'm going to this effort is to my knowledge, I don't think there's anybody reproing the ignition coils for these bikes. It may just be that I was looking within a certain price range and didn't find them in that. This is like a last minute thing that I noticed was missing from the bike, and I really, really want to make it run, and YouTube doesn't pay me yet. This is a hobby, and I was really hoping to be done for now, get some noise out of the engine. And a used set of coils was $50 at the least. And it was out of the question to look for brand new from Suzuki. I was expecting that to be like $300 if they even have them. So Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go look. Okay, I thought that was the case. They're not available new. Ignition coils for these bikes are not available new. So a coil-on plug conversion, if even possible, became necessary. And 4 of these Hayabusa ignition coils was cheaper than buying a used set of remote coils. So I'm documenting this so others can do it to keep these bikes alive, because honestly I'd rather have a carb bike, but I like this platform. I like that it's a V-twin. I like that it's a dual overhead cam V-twin. I like that it's a sport bike. I like that it's different. There's so many 270-degree parallel twins these days, and theoretically the firing interval of this is exactly the same as a 270 parallel, which means this is going to sound exactly the same as a 270 parallel twin. And you know, that's fine. This is going to balance better, actually, from what I've heard. These are smoother than the parallel twins. It's got a lower center of gravity than a parallel twin. And it's just cool. It's just cool that this is a V-twin sport bike. And particularly the 04, 05, 06 bikes. This is an 06. These things suck for parts availability. I found that out after I got the bike, but there are no tuners for these. There's no tuning for them. And they're somewhat of a bastard child, in that there's just nothing out there for these bikes. So I'm blazing the trail. I am doing stuff like this. I haven't seen this documented. I'm just red wire, go to red place. We'll see if it works here in a minute. So this pair of wires, I don't think I need to extend this. There we go. That's a little more direct. I think this is okay. I think we can deal with having one joint in here, don't you? Well, by the time you give me your input, I'll have already done what I'm gonna do, so. Okay, I didn't take that plug out, I just got another new one, so. Ooh. Those do a thing now, they didn't do that before. Ooh, we're going places. So I bypassed the clutch switch. That I did just kind of twist the wires together, so I hope the starter works now. We got spark! Oh, hell yeah. This is gonna fire tonight. Look at it again. Okay, here we go. Let me get this out of the way. That's down there. Nothing's probably gonna catch fire. We don't need none of that. It was sparking, so we don't need fuel. I got my grade A smelling salts. I have a charged fire extinguisher. It's charged enough anyway. With the pin pulled, this is ready to go. I'm gonna give her a little shot, and I'm gonna put you in the vice log. That's where you're going. You're going in the vice log. Okay, you're not moving. I can't do throttle because I'm doing this thing right now. It seemed a little bit like it was gonna fire. Kind of seemed like it was out of both cylinders too. Let's plug in. Now I push my luck. It was making sounds. Sounds are good. Put the headers on, and probably the intake. Oh yeah, can you see it? Can you see the the header flange in there. Nuts. Ooh, I think it's turning. Nope. No, it's not. It's not threading in. Nuts. Okay. Can you hear it now? Can you see it now? Is it on there? Huh? Is it all on him? Oh, what's that? This is really hard. Ugh. There we go. Kind of it on now. Oh, man. Okay, that was painful. There it is. That bolt. I barely got it started. However, what I'm running into is my extension's actually a little too long. I have a wobble up there. The wobble has a knurled section. This one does not. And I need it to be like an inch and a half, 2 inches, 3 inches shorter. A little bit shorter. But I got the bolt started, so... Oh, my back! Let me get it in. Ah, yes, I forgot. The front bolts were cut off. Yay. Okay, I had to jack up the bike a little bit, get more clearance. I finally pulled the thing for the stuff out of the hole. This was just kind of crammed up into a void in the frame, so I have access to this now. I can plug it in. Not that I want a side stand switch. That bike doesn't have a side stand switch, and we know how much I love everything about Harleys. Anyway, I'm just gonna try to slot the headers in and just like ignore the fact that the front one's loose. Okay, my first time seeing headers on here. I assume that's not supposed to be cut off there, but it's, you know, it's fine. It'll probably run now if I just hold this here. Or I just put a bitty little tack inside that hole. I'll get these out later. I'm gonna support it with this hammer here. It'll pop right off when I whack it with that hammer later. I need this to run right now. Okay. Throttle's free. I'm gonna put you in the vice log again. I think having the zip tie did stiff it up a little bit. I think the nature of the radial master cylinder wants more travel. I don't know, man. But we got headers now, and I have a throttle, and I'm gonna send it. So, fire extinguisher hasn't moved. And this sub throttle's doing sub throttle things. Ooh, that sounded cool. Step back. I'm going to put air box. I'm going to take the filter out, put the air box on, give it kind of a manifold, and I can just gas the crap out of it. Okay, good news. The air box is full of garbage. So the air box wasn't actually going to help me. It's got a little snorkel on the front, which I found out doesn't fit because my wires aren't where my wires go. But I was able to plug the map sensor in, couldn't find the lead for the intake air temp sensor. I don't know if this is an airbox from like the wrong year of bike, because I don't think I have an IAT, but anyway, map is plugged in, not that it's going to read anything, but it's plugged in now. Yeah, I'm going to try again, because I want to. Is that, am I going about this the wrong way? Or does that make sense? Which way would it go? That says up. Okay, I can soak that in some stuff. And it'll work like a carburetor, right? That makes sense, right? It almost runs that way. Almost. Bearing in mind that I have a fire extinguisher right here. This is gasoline, and we are going to pretend that this is a carburetor. In fact, this is a carburetor. And when it backfires back through the intake. Woo, this is fun. It's sucking. Oh, that might be too much. We might be flooded. Call that good. It ran. Okay, that did it. I got what I wanted. Yeah. So there's a couple things here that worked. Most recently, oh, I'm turning the wrong way. Putting fuel onto the air filter and pretending it's a carburetor. That works, I guess. And the booster coils. It's not gonna turn around for me. That's the spark that I had. It ran on both cylinders. You heard it. So, yeah, that works. I've actually never heard an SV650 run. Like, not just this one, but in person, I've never heard an SV650 at all. Wild, right? This is the kind of project that, like, it looked so hopeless for so long, and it looked kind of like this, except without that whole engine thing in there, and it looked like nothing, like it would never be anything ever again. And I can't stop smiling. Listen, I rebuilt that bike, right? But I did the big bore kit, and like when I got it, it ran. I think that's the difference. This one over here, this SV, it was a useless pile of nothing. And I Legoed it back, and it ran just now. It didn't run well, and I still have a lot of work I gotta do. a lot. But it's not that much anymore. I don't think you understand how many times I'm gonna watch that clip of it running just now. I am going to view it on my phone more than anybody's going to view it on YouTube. Of that you can be certain. I am very proud of this piece of garbage that I just made noise with at 5 a.m. now. I'm very happy. I didn't do this for YouTube, I did this for me. Making shorts every day was a big motivator to like get out here after work and do something just so I can film it and put it on YouTube. Just cuz. But the whole shop smells like burnt starting fluid. And that's because I burned that starting fluid with an SV650. That was just an exploded pile of parts. I don't know what to do here for an outro. I'm just in awe at what just happened. I've never done dual overhead cam timing before. Yes, I have. I did on the 650 Ninja, but this is two heads. This is two independent dual overhead cam cylinder heads that I timed together, and I wired those ignition coils with the wire that you see hanging out. That's a thing that I did out of my own head. I knew the booster coils would like physically fit, but I'm looking at the bike on the screen. That's why I'm not making eye contact. This is dragging out way too long. Subscribe.